Matthew Joyce Sr. and his family came to Owyhee County in 1865 and homesteaded at Sinker Creek. The Joyce Livestock Ranch remains in operation today under the management of great-grandson Paul Nettleton. It is the oldest large ranch in Idaho, remaining in the same family. From Matt Sr.'s death in 1893, the ranch was operated by his children, Matt Joyce Jr., Jim Joyce, Annie Joyce, and Maggie and Bill Nettleton. This film covers ranch operations from approximately 1946 to 1953. It was filmed by Helen Nettleton, Hubert Nettleton's wife. Hugh, a son of Maggie and Bill Nettleton, ran the ranch for almost 50 years, from 1935 to the time of his death in 1984. Helen came from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and was intrigued with ranch operations. She also wrote a book on the area called Sketches of Owyhee County. For the most part, ranch operations are similar to 50 years ago. Farm equipment is greatly improved and dehorning has been eliminated. The location of the ranch is the same, but the area has grown up with trees and shrubs to the point that the places can be difficult to recognize. Joyce Livestock is a classic example of ranching operation. The men and horses have changed names, but the ranching way of life remains today. This film is narrated by Gene Lewis, who worked on the ranch from 1937 to 1951, and Dick Jayo, who worked there from 1947 to 1953.
Hubert bought a lot of bulls from Tom Dorrance from Enterprise, Oregon, and also a lot from the Chandler Hereford Ranch in Burns, Oregon.
These are his herd bulls for his purebreds. That one on the left is Royal Esther, and the other bull's a Canadian bull. I don't know what his name was. But he had a bunch of purebred cows, and he kept these in his purebred herd.
This piece of property here is just below the old homestead. I think it was taken up by one of the boys, either Matt or Jim Joyce.
This picture here is taken in Silver City. It's Mike Hanley's stagecoach. I don't know what they were doing, but he was coming to Murphy. They stayed there all night, I think. This is down on the desert below Murphy, going down towards Conche Basin. This cow's out on the winter range. That's where they fed him cotton cake. They called it a cotton meal, and they fed it on the desert. These cows really liked it, and they done good on it. You don't never see it anymore. I don't know if they quit making it or what the deal was.
That's looking down into Conche Basin, isn't it?
Yeah.
Conche Basin was where the first Texas herd wintered. Conche brought them up from Texas.
This picture's taken on the road to Triangle. It's a place called the Dick and Cumber that the Joyces owned. There's working cattle up there and branding a few calves and stuff that they.
It was part of the cane field, wasn't it? Or right next to it, anyway.
They're separate fields. Billy Kane and Dick and Cumber.
This is North Castle, isn't it?
Yeah.
Dick McCumber. Stream that runs through there is North Castle.
That's Hugh Nettleton on the right, Wayne Amon. He worked there for, I don't know how many years, signed it.
Quite a few years. He went to work there during the war.
This is taken down the Spencer Reservoir at the stockyards. They call it CC's built that in the 30s. That's taking steers in there to load them on the trucks and send them out in the fall, usually about the 1st of September.
It's right on the road to Triangle.
That's brandings and rebrandings of steers that Hubert bought in the spring, take them to Josephine in the summer, and then sell them in the fall.
This is down in Sinker, isn't it?
Yeah, the Joyce place. Big Hill Trail. That's Hubert. Dick Jayo. That's Dick Jayo on a Arabian stud they had at the ranch. Moving cows out of the ranch, taking them up towards the spring ranch, they call it. Getting ready to turn out.
Little Rock Barn, as near as I could tell, was built in around 1900, which it's still there. That's where Hubert lived. It's a big barn they built later on. The house originally was a homestead cabin, just a one-room cabin, and they just added on to it.
It's a bunch of these purebred heifers.
I was feeding cotton cake again down on.
It's the place up the Quintana.
Yeah, that's up the Quintana. As Maggie told you to begin with, the original homestead was where what they call the upper place. Then they bought the Lambert place and also the Quintana, or the Cochran Ranch, later on, and it was all, and then one of the boys homesteaded below, so the whole creek up through there were all Joyce Livestock Company.
Think that's you and the horse?
Yeah, it could be. I used to ride him. In fact, I showed him a little bit. For a stallion called what was it?
Owyhee Chief.
Owyhee Chief.
guys working cows down below the ranch there in the little holding pen they had. It's Joe Nettleton, Hubert. Curly Thompson. Dick Jayo.
That's looking up toward the old Quintana Ranch, up through the Lambert, and on up toward the Quintana. Soul Rock Barn is still there, and that picture of that house that just went by is the old Joyce bunkhouse.
It's taken right below the house there where Hubert lived. Same place, moving a bunch of cows up the creek. I think these pictures are taken about 51. They had quite a little snow that winter.
When Hubert and his mother first took over the outfit, they lived at the Quintana Ranch and had a nice big two-story house and shops and garages and barns, and all of it washed away when the reservoir went out, the Sinker Creek Reservoir. You couldn't even tell where there'd been a house there. What year was the flood? 43? 1943. You can see how much hay the cattle eat in the winter. Well, in the summer you have to raise that hay, so some pictures here of them haying during the summer.
These pictures taken just out of Murphy Striker Basin. And they're spraying cattle for lice.
These cattle were all branded with an MJ, and it was the original old Matt Joyce Sr.'s brand. It was the first one recorded in Owyhee County. And they still use it today. This fellow dehorning now is Corwin Hagberry. He worked for Nettleton's off and on for quite a while. Where were these pictures taken, Dick? Were they up
I don't know. I thought this was
Base Creek?
Base Creek. There's more taken up Dick McCumber. That's the Paul place. On the way to Silver City.
The corral they had between Gilmore, up at the upper corner of the Gilmore Ranch, at the end of the drift fence coming from Rabbit Creek. We used it for a wild horse corral some too. This must be in Silver City, huh?
Yeah.
Around Silver City, McCoy's.
I think Lenny Flat.
Now's their summer haying. This is a more modern method. They even had bales then. Before that, there was a lot of primitive ways to put up hay. I think we tried them all. What do they call this outfit, Dick?
But
Hmm?
old farmhand,
Yeah. No farmhand?
farmhand stacker.
And there's one of the first old balers. Made life a lot easier in the winter feeding cattle after they got the bales. Used to all be loose hay. We used to mow this meadow with teams, and it was really tough because the birds would have nests out there and mice. And they'd plug up your mowing machine all the time. What are they doing here, building a bridge?
Building a bridge up there. Just below the house. The Joyce place. Them old power poles. Pretty good bridge while it lasted. And the high water come down in the spring and washed it out.
All those mountain creek sinkers, this is Sinker Creek. Sometimes they're like a river and other times they're dry. You never know from year to year what they're going to be like. Getting ready to build a shop here, I guess, aren't they?
I'll put up a little Quonset hut. Use it for a granary. And store cotton cake and stuff there. It's down there in front of Hubert's house. Just across the road. Still sitting there. I don't know if they use it now or not, did they?
Crop duster.
Combine Grand Murphy Flat. It's Ralph Glue, he worked for Mitchell's. It's a brand new mini Moline combine. Pretty big in them days. Idaho Power when they put the power into the ranch. I don't know what year that was. Yeah.
Probably in the late 30s.
That's 50s. Early
50s, really?
Says that's Helen's dad there, Paul Thuringer. Late 40s, early 50s. See that Helen's dad standing there.
Oh, that's right, because they had generators up at the old Katana place.
Yeah.
Had a Gertie, isn't it?
Had a Gertie.
Big field.
Fossil Creek. Running horses.
These would all be mostly Hubert's horses, all branded with a 7J. He had several different stud bunches. This was a little field they had off of the big field, Base Creek. This is over in Fossil Creek. Had corrals and a little barn there. Horses coming down that ridge, you can see the dust almost at the bottom of the hill.